Hello, hello, and welcome to this class on the Sacrament of Reclamation. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Michelle. I am a Pisces with a Scorpio moon. I'm a mystic. I'm a shapeshifter. I'm a poet. I'm a mother. I'm a space holder and a facilitator and a coach, a feminine embodiment teacher. And I also see myself as a keeper of this wisdom that's awakening to support the evolution of consciousness on this planet. And that's not to say that I have the answers or that I'm special in any way. I'm definitely not. I'm messy. I'm a messy human. I'm flawed. I still have my own healing and shit shoveling to do. I make mistakes. I'm very much on this journey with you and alongside you. But I am here to help you remember that you have your own access to this same channel of wisdom and truth and clarity, and that your own body is the portal to that. So, I am a feminine embodiment coach and embodiment teacher, and I teach women how to reclaim their bodies and their unique essence. So, just a little bit about how I got into this work. I didn't start as a fully embodied person or even doing anything related to this field. My career field that I'm trained in was as an expert for the US government on strategic nuclear weapons policy and planning, if you can imagine such a thing. So that was a whole different lifetime. It feels like a different timeline of my life. And during that time, I would say that I was mostly inhabiting the archetypes of the good girl and the cool girl. So if you don't know who those women are, the good girl does what she's supposed to. She does what's expected to her and she doesn't ask a lot of questions. She be's good all the time. And the cool girl goes with the flow. The cool girl is easygoing, which was something that I really wanted to be in my younger adulthood. I wanted to be uncomplicated. I wanted to be undemanding. The world seemed to value that in a woman. I didn't want to be needy. I thought that would be a absolutely horrible thing to be or high maintenance. The world was telling me that high maintenance women were a pain in the ass. So my entire relationship with my body at that time was really about shame and control. Pleasure and spiritual realization and fulfillment were all things that I felt that were I had to try to get to. There were something out there down the road, somewhere where I could maybe get if I tried hard enough or if I struggled a lot or gave it a lot of effort, or maybe if I was good enough or cool enough, I might land in that place sometime in the future. They felt very far away from me. And by my mid 30s, I was very stuck in this paradigm. I was stuck in what felt like a gilded cage. So my life was great on the outside, and yet inside, I was a seething mess of resentment and bitterness and aching about all of the ways that I had to show up in life to make my way in the world, to fit into the boxes that I myself had participated in creating, to fit into the roles that I myself had chosen or sought after. So that whole misalignment is what led me to my awakening and essentially the work that I do now. I feel that we're in this moment right now where the feminine is rising and these energies of the feminine and the masculine are coming to the surface in some really obvious and maybe also some subtle and unconscious ways for us to heal and integrate these energies both within ourselves and outside in the collective. And my perspective is that we do that work in our bodies. We need to do that work in our bodies. We can't do it from a theoretical understanding. We can't just do it from the level of the mind, like reading books and having conversations and understanding things, but we have to actually fully embody the fullness of these energies within ourselves because we create the paradigms of reality that we experience. through our embodiment. Our evolution as souls, even our evolution of consciousness, needs embodiment to occur. Our bodies are a medium through which that alchemy of evolution occurs. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here in these bodies. So, the body, I feel, is a really foundational and necessary aspect to all the things that are shifting and happening and moving and changing and evolving in ourselves and on the planet and in our collective. Embodiment is also a big way that we connect with the feminine because the feminine is creative life force energy, that energy that dances everything in the universe alive. It's the animation of spirit and emotion moving in matter. So, coming into the body is a primary way that we connect with that feminine. Embodiment in that way is a really foundational work that all of us need to be doing right now. And I created a program, an online program called Wild Sacraments, which is a journey of feminine embodiment. Wild Sacraments are a lens to view that journey of what it means to fully embody the feminine, fully embody in general, not just the feminine, but to be fully embodied within ourselves with the ultimate goal of co creating with the universe. It's not just happening in a vacuum, but there's a bigger picture that is unfolding with us needing to be fully embodied and come into our bodies. So I created this program called Wild Sacraments. And the sacraments of the journey of feminine embodiment and embodiment more generally are the sacraments of reclamation, the sacrament of liberation, and the sacrament of creation. So I'm going to be doing a series of master classes on these sacraments and what they are to help you understand what ingredients go into this pot of the wild sacraments of feminine embodiment, of becoming more fully in our bodies. And today is the class on the sacrament of reclamation. So I want to share a little bit with you about reclamation. And where I want to start is in defining embodiment. So, what is embodiment? Embodiment is a real buzzword right now. You might hear it all over the place. I see it all over my social media. Lots of people have their own perspectives on what embodiment means. And when I speak about embodiment, what I'm talking about is not embodying something outside of ourselves, it is inhabiting and embodying our own self more fully, that spark of who we are, the unique essence, the truth, the unique essence of you, reclaiming that essence and reclaiming that life force energy that wants to express through you, through this vehicle, this instrument of your body that wants to come alive as you in the world. And so the journey of embodiment is that spark, that essence, that life force. Is it free to flow fully through you out into the world? Is it free to fill up your vessel and your field? Or is it constricted and shut down by habit, programming, frozen tension, fear, and those kind of things? So we contact that unique essence of ourselves, our unique life force energy that wants to express into the world as us through the body, through these technologies of awareness, breath, movement, and sound. These are essentially the technologies that we use to get in contact with our soma, with our somatic body, to have a conversation with the body and to create more space for that energy to be able to flow freely through us. Every single one of us has access to this innate bodily genius. Our bodies are a deep well of information, intelligence, inspiration, impulse, instinct, and we all have access to that. It's just that most of us were taught actually to disengage and disconnect from that. We were taught from a very young age to ignore and to turn down the volume on our bodies. The experience of our animal bodies was seen mostly as inconvenient or maybe even dangerous and something to be transcended or repressed in the name of intellectual pursuits and productivity. So we really have a journey to take to get back in touch with these aspects of ourselves, this enormous and what I would feel as endless well of fuel and resourcing and wisdom that lives in this dimension of our bodies. To get back in touch with that, to learn how to turn up the volume on that, to learn how to bring it alive in our lives in a more full way. And this well of resourcing and fuel, this is where all of our desires and our passion and our impulses and our wisdom arises from. And when we want to access that, that asks us to uncover and to explore the ways that we have shut that down, the ways that maybe we have been tamed to fit into institutions and ways of being, the ways that we have become domesticated in a sense, the ways that we become divorced from our original nature and from nature itself. It asks us to become defiant in the face of systems and structures and institutions in our collective that want to separate us from our own bodies and our own wildness and our own essence. It's through the body where we connect with our untamed heart. It's through the body where we connect with and live out our deepest held truths and our deepest desires. And we do that through discovering more of a full body engagement with our lives, where we don't just engage with life from the level of the mind. The mind is quite permeable. It is filled with external agendas and thoughts, thought forms and ideas and reference points that aren't even necessarily ours. The mind is correspondent with this air element, the element of air. So it's very permeable, it's very in flux. But our soul lives in the body. Our soul is what we create when we bring our spirit all the way into our incarnate body. And that really comes alive in our untamed heart. This is where we find the depths of our soul's truth and where we actually do this process of soul making is in the body. The sacrament of reclamation is where we can explore for ourselves what it means to live out the most honest version of ourselves possible, the most genuine and true and authentic version of ourselves possible. That's where we discover how to be more full in the way that we allow that unique creative life force essence to bubble through us, where we discover how to be more full in the way that we inhabit that essence in our bodies and ourselves, the way that we express it out into the world, and the way that we experience that co creation of creativity and relationship with other people and with life and with everything around us. And the real secret to this path of reclamation is that the journey is not out and up, which is a trope that the 5D ascension, light and love people, and even institutional religions would want us to believe that we have to transcend this base body experience. We have to empty out into the divine. The secret with reclamation is that the actual journey is not out and up, it's down and in. The body in this frame is not something to transcend. As I said, we need the body for our evolution of consciousness. We need the body to evolve ways of being on this planet. The divine needs us to evolve within the vessel of our bodies so that the divine itself can evolve its own understanding and consciousness. So we're not trying to transcend the body here. Being in this body is the entire point. And we can realize too that all those things that we desire to experience in life, love and pleasure and success and fulfillment and orgasms, a connection to the divine, ecstasy, the bliss of uniting with our true essence. The only way to ever experience those things is in and through the body in the present moment. That's the only place that we can feel them while we're here incarnate in these bodies. So we have to learn how to engage with the whole world through our entire beings. Again, not just from the mind and intellectualizing, but through our skin, through our mouths, our tongues, our hearts, our hands, our sex. We have to rediscover this untaming of that true essence that wants to flow through us. Essentially, we have to rewild ourselves. That's why I call this wild sacraments. We have to rewild our essential nature. And through doing that, we free up a ton of energy. So it takes actually a lot of energy to keep all of that in. It takes a lot of energy to stop us from expressing. It takes a lot of energy actually to hold frozen tension in the body. It's energy that we're not even aware that we're expending. All that energy can get freed up. All that energy that was being used to keep everything in control and fit into the boxes and make our way in the modern world, all of that control energy can be freed up. And then we can use that liberated energy to express and to create and to be in our pleasure and to really, really embody the fullness of life. So, with this sacrament of reclamation, one of the main tools that I teach and that we use in the Wild Sacraments program is a practice, an embodiment practice called moving what you're feeling. And I want to do a little taste of this with you right now together so that you can have a little bit of an experience of this, a direct experience, not just listening to me talk about it, but a direct experience of it in your own body. So, the main idea with the moving what you're feeling practice is to allow your body to move from the inside out, to let your movement arise from the sensations that you're feeling. Sensations are the language of the body. You might have tried meditation before. This is a type of meditation, but it's a moving meditation because we're going to use awareness, breath, movement, and sound, as I said, those technologies to get in touch with the body and to support us to turn up the volume on the body and to inhabit the body more fully. So in traditional meditation, that's an example of what I was talking about of emptying out, of coming into stillness, of transcending this body experience. And that can be really challenging for some people, especially people who have a feminine essence, who have a lot of emotions or sensations or energies moving inside of them. So we might think of this moving what you're feeling practice as a feminine form of meditation. It's a fluid and dynamic form of meditation. And just like traditional meditation, again, we're going to use the breath, we're going to use awareness, but we're also going to add in these ingredients of movement and sound. So if you want to try this with me, I invite you to take a moment here to get comfortable. We'll just spend a few minutes here together. You can shut down your eyes if that feels safe for you, or if it's not, you can take a soft gaze. And with a breath, drawing your awareness inside your own body. You might imagine that you're letting go of everything else so that you can move a layer deeper into yourself. Just take a moment here to rest your awareness with your breath. You don't need to do anything special with the breath. You can let go of any idea that a deeper breath is more spiritual or more enlightened. And let the breath do whatever it wants to do and just notice. Just notice the sensations of breath. You might notice the temperature of the air as it's coming in your nose. You might begin to sense the expansion of your rib cage as the air flows in. And as you're beginning to move a layer deeper into yourself, you might just see, is there anything that your body needs to arrive to greater presence with yourself and greater presence with this moment? And so that means that you're so welcome to stretch or change positions or invite some movement in your body, maybe some wiggles or some swaying or swirling your hips, stretching out your neck. Can even touch with your hands. And as you're resting your awareness a layer deeper in your body, inviting you to open to sense or to feel what is loudest in your body right now. What's loudest in your body? That might be a physical sensation like tightness in your shoulder, pressure against your back or your base. Whatever's loudest in your body might be an emotion or feeling like sadness or impatience or even confusion about what's supposed to be happening here. What's loudest in your body might be an energy, might be heat or bubbly or heaviness, or it could even be a thought. What's loudest in your body might be a thought. Maybe your thought is, am I doing this right? Maybe your thought is, what's this for? I don't understand. So just taking note of whatever is loudest in your body and then seeing if you could get into contact with that sensation or feeling or thought or energy within you and ask, how would this have me move? How would this have me be? How would it have me breathe? So right now I'm noticing some tightness in my belly. So I'm just bringing my hands there. I'm inviting a deeper breath into my belly. I'm feeling the middle of my body kind of swirling, moving a bit. I'm inviting some softening into my belly. That tightness is wanting me to soften. So taking that journey for yourself, seeing what do you notice in your body? How would that have you move? How could you get a little more intimate, drop a little deeper right into the heart of that sensation? Let it be felt fully. And if you lose contact with that thread of sensation, that's okay. Just taking a breath and then noticing what's here now. The sensations, the feelings in our bodies are always in flux. They're always shifting and moving. So just notice what is coming to the surface now in your body. And how could I get more intimate with that neck sensation? How could I move or breathe in a way that brings me into greater contact with that? So I am noticing some lightness in my throat and in my head, almost like my head is maybe floating a little bit off of my body. I'm just asking, how could I move or breathe myself into greater intimacy with that sensation? How would this have me move from the inside out? How would it have me breathe? And then noticing what happens as I get into contact with that. Ooh. And I'm now beginning to personally notice just some pleasure sensations, some relief, some softening, some grounding. I'm noticing the earth beneath me. I'm noticing that it feels good and relieving just to, just take a moment to drop out of this heady energy of sharing things with you and just drop into feeling in my body. Mm. I often wonder why I don't do this more, why I don't do this at just little intervals throughout my day. So for you, just weaving your awareness right into the heart of whatever you're feeling right now. Oh, yeah. And then with your next inhale, inviting you to take a moment to send your breath and your awareness into your chest, into what's often known as the heart space. Taking a moment to feel your heart, imagining that you could open to feel, to sense, to imagine what's alive in your heart today. Again, you can take any movements or adjustments or sighs or stretches that bring you into greater contact with this beautiful heart in this moment. You might see if you could, for a moment, drop beneath the mind, looking at the heart. seeing if you can drop into being the heart feeling, being the heart feeling. It's okay if you pop out of that and then drop back in or only touch it for a moment. It's okay if you feel a lot in your heart, and it's also okay if you don't feel much of anything at all. You're just being curious or opening a doorway, creating an invitation. With your awareness in your heart space, you might imagine that you're dropping in the question, what would you have me know? What would the wisdom of your heart have you know? You don't need to go searching for an answer. You can simply breathe and let your body be heavy in your seat. And let whatever wants to wash up on the surface of your awareness come in response to that question. What would you have me know? There might be a thought or a word or an image, or there might even just be a sensation or a feeling. Whenever you feel complete with that, you might offer your body some kind of a gesture of closure, way of saying to the body, we're completing with that little mini exploration. And you're welcome to share in the chat whatever it was that you noticed, what message you received in your heart around that question. What would you have me know? So, if you like that, and if you're hungry for more of this, and you want to take this journey through these wild sacraments of reclamation, of liberation, and creation, I want to extend a heartfelt invitation for you to join us in my online program, Wild Sacraments. It's my feminine embodiment immersion. This is a 4-month journey that awakens the wisdom of your wild feminine soul through embodiment and ritual and community. So I already mentioned these 3 wild sacraments. These are the topics that weave through everything that we do in wild sacraments. Reclamation, where we reconnect with the deepest parts of ourselves and reclaim the wisdom of the body. Liberation, where we free up all of that frozen tension that we've been holding in the body, where we really learn how to release energies and stuck emotions from the body. And then creation, once we free up all of that life force energy, how do we harness it and channel it into consciously creating our lives, consciously creating more magic and enchantment and pleasure? Wild Sacraments is more than a course. This is a 4-month transformative journey into feminine embodiment. When you open up access to your body, this portal of fuel and wisdom and resourcing, I guarantee you your life will change. This is life changing, paradigm changing work. So, in the course, you will be invited into 6 online modules. Those are self paced. This is my best stuff on embodiment, as well as lots of practices for how to bring this alive in your own body. We also have twice a month calls for guidance and mentorship and connection and building this community and doing this work in connection with other women for being supported and mentored on your journey, where you can ask questions and where we can go into practices and rituals together and where you can hear what other people's journey is about. We also have a private online space where we can continue that connection and community and receive support. These are the 6 modules that you will be invited to journey through in Wild Sacraments. Sensitivity, we turn up the volume on the language of our bodies. Release, where we support the body to move through stuck emotions and frozen tension. Pleasure, where we learn the flow method for expanding our capacity for pleasure. So we need actually more capacity in our systems to hold all of the goodness and pleasure that we want to receive and experience in life. And we can actually work with that in some really practical ways, how to expand our capacity. Boundaries help us speak and honor our truth with an open heart. Magnetism is where we do that process of channeling our radiance into calling in the things that we want to experience and create in life. And then being and becoming is where we explore who it is that we want to be in the world once we get in touch with those deeper values and truths and clarity that lives within us. How do we be that more fully? So I mentioned feminine embodiment. That is the core of this course, Wild Sacrament, being in the feeling, sensing body, living life in a full body way. We have rituals. There are practices and rituals in the course and on the live calls. Rituals are what help all of us to get oriented in the same direction. It's what helps bring our bodies along the journey on those intentions that we hold for ourselves. And women's circle. So there's real power in our gathering. There's real power in a circle of women and in being witnessed and what's coming up for you and witnessing other women. This is medicine for the feminine soul. So if you want to feel more alive and grounded and connected with your body, if you want more confidence, more magnetism, if you're hungry for community and support with other women who are on this similar path, if you wanna turn up the experience of pleasure and vitality and ease instead of constant doing and pushing, and if you wanna be deeply attuned to your inner wisdom, then this course is for you. Here's what you get in the online course. You get the 6 self-paced online modules. You get 2 monthly live calls, live circles. You get a whole library of guided embodiment classes and practices. You get that online community space. And you have access to this in an ongoing way. So once you're done with the 4-month program, if you want to keep going in the community and keep practicing and coming, there's an option for you to stay in the community. Couple payment options here. It is 450 USD for the 4-month course. That's broken up as a 190 enrollment fee and then $65 a month for 4 months. And then you can continue afterwards for that same 65 a month. You're welcome to cancel your payments anytime. You can also choose to come for and commit to a full year with me for 770 upfront, which is $200 less than if you were to pay month to month. So if you know that you want to dive into this work for a full 12 months and really give it a full 12 months, it does take time. This isn't a quick fix. It's not an overnight thing. It's something that we need to journey with over a period of time. So if you're ready for that and you want to come in, you can choose that 1 year access. So I'm inviting you in to live your life as an authentic, magical, and embodied woman through this program, Wild Sacraments. And I will pop a link for that in the chat. And if you're watching the replay of this, you will find that in the email where you found the replay. All right. So I just want to extend a deep bow of gratitude to you if you're on this path and just really encourage you on your own journey. I want to express gratitude for you being here. This work is so important and so needed in this time, and we so need to support each other. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for walking this path. Thank you for saying yes to the evolutions that need to happen within us and on this planet and in our collective at this time. And I would love to hear from you. So, if you're watching the replay, please let me know. Hit reply to my email and let me know how this all landed for you. Let me know what questions you have and what support you need. All right.